Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and this time Steven Seagal is hard to kill. He's LA Detective Mason Storm. Mason Storm, that's a good action movie hero name. Mason Storm. 3 hired assassins left him for dead, and he's waited 7 years to even the score. What's funny about this DVD is on the inside there's a picture from Out for Justice. Literally, if I get the Out for Justice DVD, you'll see um, let's see, where do we have it? Oh, right here. Out for Justice DVD. You see that scene. Hard to kill. There it is again. Only that is from Out for Justice. So they put the Ron Steven Seagal picture in the DVD. That's how much Warner Brothers gave a shit back in the day. Of course, it's not as bad as 20th Century Foot Face for March for Death, which I'll get to. You see this picture? It's a vehicle doing a wheelie. I believe that's from License to Kill, a James Bond film, which is an MGM movie, but yet James Bond's License to Drive, Let's Drive, that'd be a different James Bond movie. License to Kill, James Bond's License to Kill with Timothy Dalton is on the back of March for Death. Just, and again, hard to kill, but yet they have a picture of Out for Justice. Fucking shit. But Hard to Kill is another Seagal film that I enjoy. That was a good follow-up to Above the Law. Actually had some good reviews. USA Today, the Eastwood / Norris / Bronson of the 90s. Pleasant surprise. Janet Maslin, the New York Times, the suavest inheritor of the action film mantle. Bruce Malmuth directed this. I know he directed Nighthawks. He was going to direct Stone Cold, but I guess he had personal problems, personal issues. I believe he filmed about 1 or 2 weeks of the film, but then he got fired, and a lot of that stuff had to get thrown out. There's a Q&A on Stone Cold that Brian Bosworth tells those details on. It's on YouTube. I'm not sure what Bruce Malmuth did after this, like after that stuff, but I know him and Seagal did not get along. Apparently Seagal was running late and doing this and that. Kelly LeBrock, who he was married to at the time, she didn't want to be in the film, but Seagal said, hey, come on, you're my wife, be in the flick. And nowadays, she doesn't like the film. She calls it hard to watch. Which I think, granted, she might have issues with Seagal, because from what I understand, their relationship did not end that greatly. But I still, I don't think the film's hard to watch. I think it's actually a pretty damn good flick. You also have William Sadler as your villain, who's a bad senator. David Michael Frank did the score once again, like he did the score for Above the Law and Out for Justice, as well as Hero and the Terror, Showdown Little Tokyo. He's a good composer. Street Nine with Jess Speakman as well. It's one of those films where I think what most people remember is Steven Seagal coming out of a 7-year coma, full set of beard, and being able to evade a bad guy while on the stretcher and going in and out of elevators. Yeah, I mean, saying that out loud is pretty goofy, and I'm sure a lot of people will say seeing it's pretty goofy, but for some reason I always bought it. Because at this point he was Steven fucking Seagal. I just bought into it. And also, going back just to realize how popular these films were. These films made a lot of money. Like this and March for Death made about 45 million dollars. And these were like his second and third films. To put in comparison, that film with Van Damme only made $32 million in the US. So this hard action movie made a lot more money. Hell, the highest grossing Van Damme film was Time Cop, and that was about as much as this movie. I mean, in fact, Time Cop, which many consider to be Van Damme's most successful film, in the US made as much as this, Seagal's second film. And what I'm getting at is, at the time, Seagal was doing much better at the box office than Van Damme. Granted, I think Van Damme has a better career, and if I picked between the two, I would say I like Van Damme more than Seagal. But I'll probably, at the end of all these, I'll do a video of that, Van Damme versus Seagal, and my thoughts on it. That'd be an interesting video for me to do. But yeah, that's how big Seagal was back in the day. His films were making 40, 45 million. Under Siege made around 80 million in the US, more than any of Van Damme. I mean, again, the closest was Time Cop, that was 40 some million. So when Seagal was getting big, he was getting red hot. And that's why, despite Warner Brothers having to deal with Seagal's shenanigans behind the scenes on this one, and from what I understand, and some stuff in Out for Justice, and among other films, they would put up with it because of how much money these movies were making. But getting to the film itself is a very simple plot. Seagal is a cop. The beginning actually takes place, I believe, in 1983. Because it's about the Oscars and who's going to win, Gandhi or E.T. Films that had come out the year before, and then, who's going to win the Oscars? And then he gets in a coma 7 years later. But he was recording a meeting. He just found out. He runs away. He walks into this convenience store, and then you get a fun sequence where the store owner goes, who cares about the movies? Look what I got here. I got horror, I got sex, I got violence. And then Seagal says some stuff back, and the guy owning the shop goes, yeah, I'd be great at a porno. And then some thugs come in, and Seagal goes, you better dial 911. These assholes come in, and they shoot the clerk, so Seagal didn't save him. But he fucks these guys up, disarms a guy with a shotgun, uses it to take down one guy and throw some folks, pushes the guy through, just boom, hits him right in the neck, and guy goes right through these bottles. He does that move from above the law, my favorite move he does, where he gets the guy and goes across his neck, sort of a clothesline from hell. That's a clothesline from hell, just doing boom, and the guy goes right to the ground. And then the last guy has a knife. Seagal goes, hey, why don't you come and cut my heart out? Cut my heart out. And he even gets on his knees. Come on, cut my heart out. Guy tries, takes the guy down, breaks his fucking ankle. And then it cuts to him outside, and people are like, yeah, good job. But I'm like, well, he didn't save the clerk. He's dead, but good job on breaking that guy's ankle. So I guess that's why they're congratulating him on. Good job, you fucked these guys up and you broke his ankle. You didn't save the clerk, but good job. Just something that I found funny. Goes back, his wife, his kids, says a prayer with his kids, he's in bed with his wife. Baddies come, they fuck with his nookie, so he gets pissed. He's ready for sex and for the titties to come out to suck on. But they come in, he shoots one, gets shot, but feels nothing. He's like, motherfucker! You motherfuckers! Fucks one guy up, takes his wrist, goes like this, kisses the shit out of him, but he gets shot, and then his wife gets shot and dies. And they plant cocaine to set him up, and they try to get the kid, but the kid escapes. And then it cuts to his buddy, character's name's O'Malley. The actor's name, I believe, is Frederick Coffin, and finds that his buddy Seagal's in the hospital. He's like, that's the most unstoppable son of a bitch I ever knew. And then some asshole goes, well, he got stopped tonight. So people believe he's dead, but a doctor comes out and says, oh, he's not dead. And O'Malley says, tell no one. This guy's life is in danger. If you tell someone, he's going to die. So he's kept hush-hush. It's 7 years later. Coma, beard. And you have Kelly LeBrock, who is the kind of nurse I want. I mean, one of the first thing she says is, would you like a little pussy? But here's the thing, she brings up a little kitten, cute kitten, and obviously she's been watching this guy for a while as the nurse there. It's just one of those things, is this, in this very PC world of movies, you would not see that. You would not have a female nurse going, you want a little pussy? And then here's a kitten. It just, they wouldn't do that, but I liked it. I'm like, this is my kind of nurse. I like kittens, and saying that, it wakes him up. Hell, if Kelly Brock's voice is, if I'm hearing Kelly Brock's voice saying, you want, you know, I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming now about that, because Kelly Brock, Weird Science, this film, very beautiful lady. And I gotta get out of my daydream now before it becomes a wet dream, but that's too much information. But seriously, would you like a little pussy? That would wake anybody up. If I heard that, I'd wake up. And then, not only that, she checks out his package. Like, he's still in his coma, checks out his package and goes, please, wake up. I'm like, this is my kind of nurse. This is like the nurse that 2 steps later will be a Skinamax movie. Or would be a Skinamax TV show. You remember Skinamax? Sadly, there's going to be people who don't know what the fuck that is. It's Cinemax when they would show like adult programs. Softcore porn. And they would show it so much, a lot of us would call it Skinamax. It's like, we don't want to, the movies on Cinemax, who gives a shit? Just wait till late night, watch it turn to Skinamax. So, doesn't quite get to Skinamax. Close, at least later on. But, yeah, checks out his package, and he wakes up. Hey, it's Kelly LeBrock asking if he wants pussy, and check out his package. I wake up too. And then the escape from the hospital, which I find fun. A lot of people make fun of it. It's too silly. But if it's too silly, it's the silly I enjoyed. And I could deal with. It's a memorable scene from the flick. And Kelly LeBrock finds out what's going on and helps him. He shaves his beard. He's healing through herbs and acupuncture. He's lifting weights. He puts this pose and punches the shit out of it. Running up hills. Has a sex scene with Kelly LeBrock. You see, that's a part of the training too. Granted, I mean, you could technically say, well, he just woke up, and this is technically for him days. His wife just died days ago, and he's already fucking Kelly LeBrock. But I believe that was actually partly in the script, but it was cut out. Because Jack Craven, who's another, again, I'll mention him a lot in these because he sent me a lot of info. Director Bruce Malmuth had some studio interference and cuts on Nighthawks. Same thing happened here. Originally it was titled 7-Year Storm. 7-Year Storm, to me, that sounds more like a Roland Emmerich movie. I like Hard to Kill. Simple but effective. And it makes sense with the story. He is hard to kill. He was put in a coma and he came back to kick ass. 7-Year Storm sounds like a sequel to The Perfect Storm or something. The studio went in, re-edited the film, removed a lot of scenes to make it shorter and have more theatrical screenings. Kind of like Warner Brothers would do before on Cobra. And I think they did with Showdown Little Tokyo as well. For example, an entire subplot where Steven Seagal's son Sonny gets kidnapped by bad guys but manages to escape was cut out completely. And then the ending was changed, which I'll get to later on. Malmuth and Seagal also didn't have a good working relationship, and the end it was really the studio who fucked up the film. While not one of my favorite Seagal films, I do think it's always a fun watch. It is a fun watch. Good fight scenes, like the fight scene in the convenience store. I like some of the lines of dialogue. Come and cut my heart out. Or later on, where after he's recuperating, sees his buddy O'Malley, who's been raising his kid, and he realizes that this Senator Trent is the bad guy, and the senator will use this catchphrase a lot. You need to take that to the bank. And Seagal goes, I'll take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank. And it even does with the music. Do, 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 do. Granted, the do, 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 do is over the top. You could have just had the one-liner, which is a do, 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 is, here's an exclamation point, in case you didn't get that was a one-liner. But I will admit it made me smile, so mission accomplished. And I like that line of dialogue. It's one of my favorite lines in the film. It's definitely one of the most memorable lines in the film. But bad guys, Kelly LeBrock is off somewhere, follow her back, and you get some shotgun fun. Seagal shotguns one good bloody squibs. He shoots two, he disarms one who has a knife, breaks one guy's arm and smashes him into this glass cabinet, shoots some more, fun action sequence. Then you end the Jeep, driving over stuff, flying off, hits one guy who flies off, hits another guy through this gazebo or some other type of structure, being shot at, some nice jumps with the Jeep. They get away. They get into Seagal's old home from 7 years ago. They get this evidence, which is this camera and film from what he had recorded the meeting, which showed that this William Sadler guy is a bad guy. And they meet at a hotel at night in order so he could connect with his son. But more bad guys fuck with him. He hits one guy, kicks him through a window, then picks him up, throws it through another fucking window. They steal a car, they get chased by cops, they escape. In the meanwhile, O'Malley is with Seagal's kid, and he dies protecting the kid. And I like that guy. I thought the guy who played O'Malley, Frederick Coffin, actually did a pretty good job. He was likable. And of course, I gotta mention the great dialogue. How could I mention? But before then, I didn't mention Above the Law, but Seagology, a study of the ass-kicking films of Steven Seagal. Very good book. Already it's out of date because this is only till Pistol Whipped, and there's been about at least 10, 15, maybe 20 movies since then. But it's a fun read. This guy named Vern going through every Steven Seagal film, at least that came out. And for the most part, he seems like a Seagal fan. I mean, I guess you had to be if you were going to write a whole book on him. And this also has some nice info too, but this actually has the quote I was thinking of. I gotta find out where the hell it's at, though. No, you did the right thing. Then wasn't the time. Now's the time. We're outgunned and undermanned. But you know something? We're gonna win. I'll tell you why. Superior attitude, superior state of mind. We'll get them, buddy. Believe me. Every fucking one of them. And then shoots these things, these pots, in order to see if his aiming's alright after so many years. And man, that's a lot of... It's sad that they don't make movies like this anymore, Above the Law, or Out for Justice and such. It's just really a simple, straightforward revenge plot. and it works well without needing jump cuts and quick cuts and heavy dose of CGI and having the cinematography twisted and turned so much that it looks fake as fuck. Sometimes simple is the way to go. Like even the scene here when Seagal's running after these guys who are chasing his kid. And he gets to the guy, kicks the legs off from him, off his feet, beats him up, hits his head on a table, fucks up his wrist again, and realizes he was the guy from earlier who helped kill his wife, and just breaks his fucking neck. And goes to the bad guy's place, William Sadler's place, and fucks their day up. They're playing pool, and it's like, hey, who's gonna throw me a cue? Fights people with a cue stick, smashes one guy over the head with it, and takes the broken cue stick, and the guy who shot his wife stabs the broken pool cue stick into the guy's throat. And not only that, he goes, that's for my wife. Fuck you and die. Just hits the guy, and the guy's on his knees and just goes, that's badass, and that's brutal. Just, I mean, it's not only stabbing him with a broken pool cue stick, but just, that's for my wife. Fuck you and die. Great line. I love that. I love that. Simple, dirty, direct fight scenes. Shot wide, so I know what the fuck's going on. I can see it all on what he's doing in his Aikido movements. There's a dirty cop there, just bitch smacks him, and then grabs his tie and I guess chokes him because he's kind of having his tie and doing this right to here, and you hear some sound effects. So I guess he broke his neck or his throat or something. That one I was like, kind of didn't get. But there's William Sadler, and he's playing around with him. I think his first name's Vernon. He's like, Vernon, Vernon, where are you, Vernon? Are you under the bed? Oh, you're good at this game. It just fucked with William Sadler. Finds him, puts a shotgun right into his mouth. And then it looks like he's going to shoot him in the balls. And William Sadler's like, no! Shoots. And then Seagal goes, I missed. I never miss. They must have been smaller than I thought. But fucks his day up. Cops come in. They arrest him. They show the film. Although, if you watch the film, you realize at the beginning, how he's filming it and what's being said and done is pretty different from the end. And I'm like, no, that's not what was filmed. There's no way. Because if you watch the beginning of the film, Seagal's camera was down, and he was like running away when one Sadler came into light, and the dialogue was a bit different. It was a little bit longer. Then at the end, the dialogue's shorter, and the camera's like holding still. When at the beginning of the film, Seagal's like have his camera here, or he's running away, and I'm like, that doesn't match. What the fuck? That doesn't match. Wait a minute. That's a fuck up. So that is a fuck up. Continuity fuck up. If you look at the way the recording would have been, if you use your head at the beginning of the film, you see the ending, it doesn't match at all. So there's little problems like that. And Kelly LeBrock is okay. I don't think she's a great actress in this movie. I don't think she's bad. She's just okay. She's alright. I think just her character doesn't really have much to do other than be very fucking horny. Wanting to see a coma guy's dick, or what? Oh, please wake up so I can fuck it or suck it or something. And talking about a pussy and showing the kitten and then screaming and running. She really doesn't have anything to do but cry. So maybe that's it. But you know, she's okay. She's there. But yeah, like her character's not much to add up about if I'm being honest. Some fun fight scenes, shootouts, car chases. Well, no, well, yeah, I would call them car action scenes. Short enough film, 90-some minutes long. Good score once again by David Michael Frank. Fun movie, fun flick. Like the idea, the revenge angle. Interesting enough, this is what the original ending was going to be. Steven Seagal's character, Bathan Storm, happens to turn his back on Trent, William Sadler's character. And Trent tries to stab Seagal with a fireplace poker. Seagal does a move, flipping William Sadler's head right into the fireplace, face first. His neck gets impaled on the fireplace's decorative grill. I would paid attention to that, and if you look at the grill in another shot, you see that the grill by the fireplace has these little edges. And I'm guessing it was on there. Like his neck would hit that, and then his hair would catch on fire, which would lead to his head catching on fire. So yeah, he was going to do a move to slam Senator Trent right there. Hair and head would catch on fire. I wonder why that was. I wonder why. I wonder why that wasn't done. Did they think it was too vicious for the lead character to do? And then afterward, there would have been a funeral for the O'Malley character because you see it in the trailer. Like in the trailer, watch the trailer to Hard to Kill. Watch the final shot. You see what looks like flames reflected against Seagal's face, and Seagal says, "Take that to the bank." That's what he would say after he killed the senator with his head in the fire. Seagal will take that to the bank. And then also in the trailer, you see a funeral scene that would have happened afterward. O'Malley's, his buddy's funeral. I wonder why. I know repeating that, but I wonder why that was cut out. And I do recommend this book. It's a fun book. Maybe he has an updated book. I don't know, with more Seagal stuff in it. But what do you guys feel? Do you feel that ending should have been what was done, or do you like the ending we have? I'm curious what people. If people do watch this video, you let me know which ending do you like better. The ending in the movie itself or the ending that was described in there. But problems I have with the film, again, Kelly LeBrock is okay. That comeuppance would have been pretty interesting. Would have been pretty cool. Again, I'm kind of wondering why that was changed. Reshot, whatever. It had to have been reshot because in the movie he gets taken away by the authorities. I remember back in the day when I saw that trailer and then I saw him, I'm like, wait, where's that shot when he says take that to the bank? And it's fun when you know the info nowadays, but it's sad because you don't get the footage. And someone on Above the Law review asked, well, how come it was Above the Law, or when I said I was going to do these Seagal marathon reviews, they were asking, how come Warner Brothers doesn't do special editions? And Jack Craven mentioned something interesting. And he said, and I think he was Dear Man from Fire Down Below. This is probably Seagal's biggest box office bomb, and it hurt Warner Brothers, who stopped working with Seagal, and the only other movie they ever made with him was Exit Wounds. To this day, they don't want to have anything to do with him and his films, which is why they don't care about doing anything for the films he made for them in the past. Because Fire Down Below, yeah, that was a huge bomb. That cost about $60 million, and it made, I don't even think it made $20 million. It might have made less than $20 million. So that's a $40 million loss at a time when Warner Bros. Were doing really poorly. If you've seen that Superman documentary of the one that was never made, The Life and Death of Superman Lives, and in that documentary they mention about Warner Brothers having all these box office bombs, including then Wild Wild West. But bombs like Fire Down Below is why Warner Brothers did not want to finance that Superman movie, because they were doing really bad with a lot of big flops. I guess that and all the backstories of how egotistical Seagal's been in their dealings with him. They just don't want to deal with Seagal. And they're like, fuck this, and we don't give a shit about his older films. We don't want to work with the guy. Which then, of course, well, why don't you get the other actors and directors to talk about it then? But I just don't want to work with him. And the guy who asked that was Duckman1979 on my Above the Law review. He asked about that. I messaged him on a comment, but just in case, I guess that's probably the answer there as to why we're not getting special editions of these movies, which is too bad. But once again, it's kind of hard to talk about films like this because they're very straightforward. I mean, what do I talk about? Yeah, I like the way he escapes, even though it's from a 7-year coma. It's fun. It's interesting. It's, something I don't see in too many action movies. I thought Seagal did fine acting-wise. William Sadler, I like him, whether it be in The Bad Guy in Die Hard 2 or as the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Like the music. 90-some minutes, short enough movie. Good fight scenes. Straightforward plot revenge story I'm fine with. Some memorable lines of dialogue. We'll get 'em, buddy. Every fucking one of them. Take that to the bank. The blood bank. Fun movie. It's part of the golden age of Seagal. So I enjoy Hard to Kill. And next up will be Steven Seagal is marked for death with 20th century fuckface. But thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.